Hi, everybody. My name is Shana, and this is the American English Podcast. My goal here is to teach you the English spoken in the United States through common expressions, pronunciation tips, and interesting cultural snippets or stories. I hope to keep this fun, useful, and interesting. Let's do it. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to this week's episode. For today, we've got a 5-minute English episode, and it's all about cleaning. Cleaning is an activity that many of us dread, but it often comes up in small talk, especially when asking about someone's day. Without a doubt, this is going to be pretty useful. At least I have a feeling it will be. As usual, the goal for this 5-minute episode is to teach you the vocabulary, phrasal verbs, and collocations needed to have a discussion about this topic. I call this fluency one topic at a time. Recently, one of my students asked me what I mean by fluency. Fluency is a term that is interpreted differently by pretty much everyone. So for me, fluency in a specific topic is when you're able to talk freely and comfortably, when you aren't looking for words or translating from your native language. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to know every vocabulary word in the dictionary about that topic, but you know the essentials and are able to use them without doubting yourself. With that in mind, I construct these 5-minute episodes by making a list of what I consider to be must-know words and phrases in the topic. For this episode in particular, I imagined the messiest, dirtiest possible state that a home or an apartment could be in, and then described it. Then I tried to explain what you or any other individual could do to clean that home and bring it from its worst state to its best state. There's a lot of vocabulary here, so don't be surprised if listening is more challenging than regular episodes. Without any further ado, let's get into this 5-minute English episode all about cleaning. It's Saturday morning and you wake up feeling groggy. It's been a long week at work filled with late nights and fast food. When you look around your apartment, you realize that the chaos in your work life has taken a toll on the state of affairs at home. As you make your way to the kitchen, you trip on a pile of dirty laundry and a stack of books that you haven't put away since you looked at them last Saturday. In the kitchen, there are empty bottles and wrappers on the counter and dishes stacked high in the sink. There's an odd stench coming from the trash can as well. That's when you realize you're living in a pigsty. It's been weeks since you've done a deep cleaning, and the effect is unbearable. You have to do something about it ASAP. The problem is you don't quite know where to begin. So you break out a pen and paper and start to list all of the chores you need to do, starting with the kitchen. First things first, there's no reason that there are so many dishes in the sink given the amount of takeout you've eaten recently. You put on some rubber gloves, grab a sponge, and start scrubbing plates, bowls, and silverware, wondering at what point you turned into such a slob. After all, you grew up in a nice and orderly household. Your parents did the dishes every night after dinner and left the kitchen sparkling clean for the morning. They were the type of people that polished wine glasses and silverware, even though no special guests were coming to visit. Everything was always immaculate at their house. You can't help but wonder what your parents would say if they saw the filth you lived in now. They'd probably insist you hire a maid or a housekeeper to help keep things orderly. It might not be such a bad idea, you think, as you attempt to scrape off day-old oatmeal from a bowl in vain. You decide to let the bowl and a few other pots and pans soak in the sink. After all, the dish drain is full, and you've loaded the dishwasher. It's full and running. You look at your chores list and decide to hold off looking at it for a while. It's long and it's overwhelming. When you look around your kitchen, you realize there's still so much more to do. You wipe down the counters with a wet rag, gathering crumbs into a pile as you go, and then use some elbow grease to get off some sticky patches. Unfortunately, when doing so, you come across a puddle of grape juice you'd spilled a few nights back and forgotten about. And now there's a light purple stain on your white granite countertop. You make a mental note to bleach that spot later on. Stepping back, you look at the kitchen and it's not half bad. The floor, however, needs to be vacuumed and disinfected. From experience, you know that the vacuum doesn't quite fit underneath the stove or the fridge. So you grab a broom and a dustpan to sweep those hard-to-reach places. Afterwards, you get smudges off the floor by mopping, dipping the mop regularly into soapy water as you go. In the end, your tile floor is so shiny you can see your reflection in it. While you have all of your cleaning products out, you make your way to the bathroom, your least favorite room to clean. The hot, wet air is responsible for the patches of mold on the ceiling and on the walls. And so you scour them and the grout with the abrasive side of a sponge to remove it. When you're done scraping off the grime, you rinse the surfaces with warm water, plug in an air freshener, and head to your bedroom, which is in complete disarray. The floor is so scattered with pieces of clothing, you can hardly see the carpet. It's part of the reason why you had such a hard time finding your keys this morning. It was like trying to find a needle in a haystack. So you pick up your clothes and throw them into your laundry basket, strip off your dirty sheets, and then head to the laundry room, where you throw a load into the washing machine. Before starting it up, you add some detergent and fabric softener. Back in your room, you see that your dresser is covered in clutter. Socks, sunscreen, pens, notes, knickknacks. You feel like anything and everything is on there. So you declutter. You put things back where they belong. Then you dust the shelves above your dresser, since your books have accumulated dust over time. Before long, your laundry has been washed and dried, so you fold your clothes neatly and hang up your nicest clothes on hangers in your closet. Then you pull out your fresh sheets that have a strong scent of downy and then make your bed. Everything's really coming together. To wrap up your big cleaning session, you take out the recycling and the trash. And as a finishing touch, spray air freshener in each room. At the end of the day, you feel relieved but exhausted. No surface has gone untouched. You've wiped down, scrubbed, and sprayed every nook and cranny of your apartment. And when you look around, you're pretty proud. The floors are squeaky clean, the surfaces are spotless, and the air smells fresh. To check and see if you've done everything, you grab that old, unused list of chores and read out loud as you check off what you've done. I did the laundry, I folded the clothes, and I ironed the ones with wrinkles. Check. I decluttered my dresser. Check. I vacuumed and mopped the floors. Check. I Windexed the windows. Check. I did the dishes and put them away. Check. I dusted the shelves, and I put everything back where it belongs. Check. Oh, and I also took out the trash. Check. Your deep cleaning is done, and your apartment is in top shape. Looking around, you make a vow to yourself to clean up after yourself and to never let your place become such a mess again. That's it for this 5-minute episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Just an FYI, this is not a personal account of my cleaning day. I don't think my apartment or my house has ever been quite so dirty. Lucas and I clean up after ourselves and after Julia, as hard as it may be at times. It's definitely not abnormal to find measuring cups and spoons under our couch. Last week, we lost the remote for about 48 hours and then found it in the sock drawer, which is an interesting place to put it. Wasn't us, it was definitely Julia, of course. Anyway, to Lucas's surprise, when he moved to the United States, he found that it's much less common to have maids, also known as housekeepers, than it is in Brazil. He thinks it's partly due to the fact that Americans have a strong DIY culture, and partly due to the fact that hiring labor is just more expensive here per hour. According to Care.com, the cost of housekeeping is usually based on the size of one's house and whether the housekeeper needs to bring their own cleaning products. Apparently, some housekeepers charge more if there are pets or kids, And also, they take into account whether it's just basic cleaning, such as cleaning the surfaces and vacuuming the carpets, or deep cleaning, which may involve scrubbing the showers or scraping food off old dishes. Just to get an idea, the cheapest rate for a house cleaner or housekeeper near me is $15 per hour, although most people charge between $20 and $40 per hour, depending on what's required of them. In any case, we are all capable of cleaning, and now capable to talk about it. So download some podcast episodes or music and make it as enjoyable as possible. Hope you enjoyed, and until next time, bye.